What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Wednesday, January 15th, 2025, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now it is 15:50 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Eastern Europe. So last night, Russia launched another massive missile attack on Ukraine. They launched dozens of missiles from various directions, from the Black Sea, from inside of Russian territory. They used fighter jets, they used short-range ballistic missiles, they used bombers. As many as 14 bombers were involved in last night's attack. They used drones, but they did not use any Oreshniks or the ICBM. But the U.S. nuclear forces are still on very high alert today. We had a nuclear war command and control plane airborne just a little while ago. We also have a Cobra Ball airborne over North Dakota, which is a special type of plane that can detect and track missiles. We also had a B-52 nuclear bomber airborne over Louisiana. And we also had a nuke sniffer plane flying over the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes, doing a northeast to southwest pattern. And these planes can sample the atmosphere for traces of radiation. So our nuclear forces are still on very high alert. So far today, we've had 16 emergency action messages. And just in the last hour, about 10 emergency action messages going back to back. Okay, so something could go down again tonight. I will be monitoring everything in the 24/7 live stream. It does appear that Russia wants to maximize their position before Trump takes office, okay? So they're going to be striking Ukraine as much as they can. They're going to be using whatever they can, Oreshniks included, okay? So the airspace over Kapustin Yar and the Rostov Flight Information Region is still closed through the rest of this week. And that's the area that Russia launched the Oreshnik from the first time. But in the missile attack on Ukraine last night, apparently the largest gas storage facilities in Ukraine may have been destroyed by Russia in the Lviv region, right on the border with Poland. And last night, Poland activated their Patriot missile systems and also their long-range radars, in addition to scrambling fighter jets. Okay, Poland normally does not activate their ground-based air defenses when Russia strikes Ukraine, but for whatever reason last night, maybe due to the sheer number of missiles that were hitting western Ukraine, they turned on their ground-based air defenses, which is rare. Okay, and we're hearing that there might be a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas that would result in the release of Israeli hostages in exchange for Israeli forces leaving the Gaza Strip. The Israeli Prime Minister has not officially approved the deal, but there has been an agreement made. It just has to be finally approved by Benjamin Netanyahu. And this update was sponsored by EMP Shield. Guys, EMP Shield has created a special discount just for you, the listeners of the NYPrepper channel. If you go to EMPShield.com and use the promo code NYPrepper, you can get 15% off your entire order. And why do you need an EMP Shield? Well, this is a special device to protect your vehicle, your RV, your solar generators, your radios from an electromagnetic pulse, which could be caused by a solar flare or potentially a rogue country like North Korea detonating an electromagnetic pulse weapon over the United States that's mounted onto a satellite. So protect your vehicles, protect your RV, protect your radios, protect your generators with an EMP Shield. Use my promo code NYPrepper to get 15% off. Installation is super simple. This is a veteran-owned business, 100% American-made, and the EMP Shields have been tested by the military, okay? And free shipping is included to the entire continental United States. And the link and the promo code are in the description below this video. And Marco Rubio, the future Secretary of State of the United States, at his confirmation hearing today, talked about the next steps in Ukraine, and he said that they begin with some kind of a ceasefire and that negotiations will be designed in accordance with concessions and leverage. He said there will have to be concessions made by the Russian Federation. It's also important that there be some balance on both sides. In essence, it will be difficult to achieve this objective of a ceasefire and ultimately a peace settlement unless both sides have some leverage. Putin's goal now is that maximum leverage so that he can basically impose neutrality on Ukraine, retrofit, and come back and do this again in 4 or 5 years. And that's not an outcome. I think it's important that the Ukrainians have leverage, but they also will have to make concessions to reach this agreement. He called the "as long as it takes" policy on Ukraine not a realistic approach. I think it should be the official position of the U.S. that this war should be brought to an end. Okay, so he is basically saying that it's not realistic for Ukraine to think that they can push Russia out of the territories that Russia has already occupied, and that Ukraine and Russia both need to meet in the middle, essentially. And U.S. national security agencies warned today that during Trump's inauguration there could be potential terrorist acts or people planning violence. Okay, so I'm going to be monitoring that on Monday. And Ukraine may cease to exist as a sovereign state in 2025, according to Nikolai Patrushev. Okay, if you guys don't know who Nikolai Patrushev is, he's basically one of Putin's closest friends and in Putin's inner circle. He was in charge of the KGB, and he's a very powerful person in Russia, okay? Probably almost as powerful as Putin himself. Okay, so he said that Ukraine may cease to exist as a sovereign state in 2025. Very ominous words there. And France has secretly conducted exercises codenamed Perseus involving special forces deployment to Ukraine to counter a potential Russian breakthrough from Belarus. French forces were preparing for this scenario as early as late 2024, simulating operations near Kyiv's northern Dnipro River. The training was based on lessons learned from Ukraine's successful defense against Russia's February 2022 advance. Wow, so basically France and NATO special forces are getting ready to help Ukraine in the event that Russia would make a move on the capital again. They would deploy special forces to slow down Russia's advance. That is absolutely huge. And Lithuania is considering deploying troops to Ukraine if Ukraine requests it, according to the foreign minister. And NATO has decided to radically increase its military presence in the Baltics, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk told reporters after the end of the NATO-Baltic summit. This should enhance the security of critical infrastructure and improve allies' ability to respond to destabilizing actions. We will work together on such legal possibilities that will allow control over vessels outside territorial waters, and this is the biggest problem now. So, very interesting. So, NATO countries have agreed to strengthen their military presence in the Baltic Sea and want to give themselves the right to control ships in neutral waters. And Russia and Belarus are doing staff-level exercises of the Unified Command of the Regional Military Group in Belarus. Okay, so these are exercises at the general level, okay? So the generals are doing exercises, and the aim is to increase the defense capabilities of the Union State of Belarus and Russia. So that is clearly a sign that they're getting ready to potentially attack the Baltics. And in Russia, a large oil refinery owned by Lukoil in Volgograd was hit by a Ukrainian drone, and a massive U.S. sea-based X-band radar was seen leaving Pearl Harbor yesterday. And after North Korea launched several missiles on Sunday night, South Korea, Japan, and the U.S. conducted joint air drills with B-1 bombers, and South Korea's president has officially been arrested over his declaration of martial law in December. and he said that rule of law has completely collapsed and that this is an illegal investigation, but I'm going to the public prosecutor's office to prevent bloodshed. Okay, so he's saying that it's a sham investigation, and he's just going along with it to prevent basically a total meltdown of South Korean society. I want to just show you guys what we have going on right now over the U.S. So we have this Cobra Ball still in North Dakota. We have this P-8 Poseidon that's been patrolling the coast of Poland and Lithuania and Kaliningrad. This is not a good sign at all. It means that Russian ships are active here in the Baltic Sea and submarines. We also have some very unusual sub-hunter activity near the Puget Sound. We have several P-8 Poseidon sub-hunters active here for, I don't know, the second week in a row. They've been sending P-8 Poseidons here off the coast of the Olympic Peninsula every single day. And today, interestingly, we had one flying super low here and doing this loop right at the entrance to the Puget Sound. And this is concerning because we have most of our nuclear-armed subs here in the Puget Sound, okay? We also have our Trident missile storage, so if they're patrolling this area with sub-hunters and they're flying really low, only 4,000 feet, that means that there could be Russian subs hanging out here, okay, and either getting ready to attack or just keeping an eye on the activity of our nuclear-armed subs with recon subs, okay, recon drones. And last night we had a Russian Doomsday plane go to Siberia, one of Putin's Doomsday planes, and several VIP planes left Moscow. Some of them went to Siberia. Some of them went down towards the Caucasus. One went up towards the Kola Peninsula. So VIP movement was recorded last night in Russia. And during my live stream last night, we had an interesting situation. So on the primary U.S. nuclear war frequency, while I was talking about all the aerial refuelers that were airborne last night and that something was going on, this weird screaming came on the primary U.S. nuclear war frequency. So I'll play it for you. Got a lot of aerial refuelers all over the place. It's really late for there to be all these aerial refuelers. Oh, no. You hear that? Oh no, oh no. I mean, that was really bizarre, and that was on the primary nuclear war frequency. I don't know if somebody was watching my stream and then decided to pirate the nuclear forces radio frequency to try to freak me out and freak out my listeners, but I'll play this for you again. Got a lot of aerial refuelers all over the place. It's really late for there to be all these aerial refuelers. Oh, no. So really, really strange. And we also had this high priority aerial refueler land in Rota, Spain, which happens to be a place where we keep bombers, okay, primarily B-52s, B-1s, and sometimes stealth bombers. And this particular aerial refueler is associated with some of our bomber wings. So definitely a sign that something is going on here if we're moving these refuelers to Europe that are associated with bomber wings. And then here we have a U.S. Navy Recon drone that was patrolling the coast of Iran again. They've been sending these drones here basically every single night for the last month or so. So this is very, very concerning and very unusual. And last night we also had a combat scent plane patrolling the border of North and South Korea. The U.S. Air Force only has 2 combat scent planes, and these planes give intelligence directly to the president and our top generals. So if one of these is airborne somewhere, it means something serious is going on, because we only have 2 of them, and they provide intelligence directly to the president and the top generals. So this thing was going back and forth along the border with North Korea. And then we also had a recon drone from the U.S. Navy patrolling this area here of the South China Sea between the Philippines and Taiwan. Very interesting. And here's some footage of that massive oil refinery that caught fire last night in Volgograd. Okay, this is a Lukoil oil refinery. Lukoil is the largest oil company in Russia, most likely hit by a Ukrainian drone. You can see that fire lighting up the night sky. Massive fire, guys, okay? And here we have a picture of dozens and dozens of American armored vehicles being sent to Lithuania, hundreds of them, clearly a sign that America and NATO are preparing for war in the Baltics. And then here we have some video footage that was sent to me by a viewer. This is coming from Sholo, Arizona. Multiple Blackhawks were spotted, and this person says they never ever see military aircraft in their area. And here you can see multiple of these Blackhawks. There were actually 6 total. In this video you can only see 3, but he says they never ever see them here, so something is going on. And then here we have a picture coming from eastern Montana, some blacked out Chinooks flying over eastern Montana, and you can see those pipes sticking out the front. That means that they can aerially refuel. Most likely these are special operations Chinooks used to airlift Tier 1 operators around the world, and they have this rod that sticks out so they can refuel their aircraft, so they can refuel midair if they're flying somewhere really far. Okay, and you can tell they're special operations because they're blacked out, completely jet black. Okay, normal Chinooks are not jet black, they're usually gray. Okay, so very, very interesting. And the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said that a comprehensive strategic treaty between Iran and Russia will be signed during the Iranian president's visit to Moscow on Friday. And authorities in Germany's southern state of Bavaria confirmed on Monday that up to 10 mysterious drones had recently been spotted above an airbase. Investigators have not ruled out espionage as a motive behind the drone flights, floating the possibility that they are connected to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Bavaria's state criminal police office said that officers had been able to detect at least 10 drones flying above Manching Air Base near the city of Ingolstadt on Sunday evening. A string of similar incidents were reported in December at Manching and nearby Neuburg and Derdona. The Bavarian State Police believes the drone operators are trying to take pictures of military installations. Later on Monday, it was announced that the Munich Public Prosecutor General's office would be taking over the investigation. Wow. Okay, so very interesting. We have some drones flying over German air bases in the Bavaria region, and Germany has now authorized its military and police to shoot down suspicious drones that are overflying critical bases and infrastructure, okay? So the situation there is getting really interesting with all these drones. And the former Prime Minister of the Republic of Georgia, now an opposition leader, was attacked Wednesday in the port city of Batumi. And the list of performers for Trump's inauguration was officially released. Some of the big names include Carrie Underwood, Kid Rock, The Village People, Lee Greenwood, and many more. But guys, that's the latest breaking news that I have. Tune into my 24/7 live stream. I will be back later on with more breaking news. And if anything crazy happens, I'll go live and update you guys live like I did last night. But we do have nuclear attack options broadcasting right now this afternoon, back to back. So something could go down again tonight, maybe another Russian missile attack, maybe an Oreshnik strike on Ukraine. But we'll have to wait and see. So until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.